Okay, so what do we want to do here? So we want to create an unsigned mutable variable called count. So to do that, we'll just say let count. Since it's mutable, let mut count. Now if we want it to be unsigned, well, we want to have u32, okay, equal what? Well, if we're doing an infinite loop, well, it could be equal anything. Now, mind you, if we set it to be equal anything over 3, then we're not going to get this welcome to Miami. If we set it to anything over 5, then the loop will be infinite, and the loop will never end, and it'll break the code. So you could have set it to whatever you want, but hopefully you saw that and you decided to set it to 0 or negative something or 2 or 1, just to play with it. But there is a level of interpretation happening here, so we'll leave it open. So, secondly, we want to write an infinite loop that increments count plus 1, stores the value of the count, has the following conditions. So, what kind of loop would be an infinite loop? Oh, we could do a while loop, or we could do a loop. I'm actually going to do a loop. Since we're writing these if conditions, syntactically, it's going to make sense. It's going to make sense, and logically. So, I'm going to do it this way. If you did it a different way, that's totally fine. As long as you didn't use a for loop, because we did say an infinite, so indefinite loop. So how do we do that? Well, we say loop, we bring in our instruction brackets, and within here, what can we do? Well, we want to count and store the value, and we know the shorthand way to do that. And if we're incrementing by 1, all we have to do is count plus equals 1, right? And by doing that, we're storing 1, then 2, then 3, and we're looping infinitely. However, we have some if conditions. If the count is equal to 3, we want to print welcome to Miami, right? Like that. There you go. So now we got our if condition there. Now, if the count equals to 5, then we want to print the string literal time to call it a day and exit the loop. Two things. So we're going to say if count is equal to 5, print time to call it a day, and when it equals 5, in this condition we want to break, right? Remember, break ends the loop. We want to exit the loop, so we're going to break. All right. And I also want to show, I'm going to add this. It wasn't in the instructions, but I'm going to add this as well. I'm going to show the count as it counts as well. So over here, I'm going to say print as well. And we're just going to put the count. Oops, a little dyslexia. Happens to me sometimes. Okay, and it's okay that you didn't have to do this. I just want to do this to just show you for the solution so you can see exactly what's happening. All right, so let's go ahead and run this. See if we have any errors so far. I'm going to clean this up. Looks like we got an error here. Found macro println. So it's telling us, hey, listen, this println is a macro. Throw in the bang. So I forgot the bang. So I'm going to go ahead and run that again. And let's see. So at the very bottom for count, we see 1, 2. Then what happens for 3? Welcome to Miami. So it equals 3. Then 4, 5. And when it hits 5, time to call it a day. And then we end the loop. And there you go. That's the solution. That's the solution. I added this so you could see the actual count, but your solution, could have looked more like this. Depending on what it was, were your numbers when you set it, as long as you set the number before 3, welcome to Miami, time to call it a day. Now, if you set the number after 5, you would get nothing, the code would break. If you set the number to 4, what would you get? Just time to call it a day, right? If our count starts at 4, and we run the code now, see what happens. If the count starts at 4 instead, and we run it again, let's see what happens. We just get, see at the bottom there, time to call it a day. And you know what? That concludes our lesson. So I would say that it is time to call it a day. So let's call it a day, or call it whatever time it is for you. For me, it's not really time to call it a day, but it's lunchtime. I'm going to have a little bite to eat. You do you, and I'll see you whenever you're back. See you whenever you feel like it in the next lesson for more JavaScript together. Okay, awesome. Great work. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully these lessons on looping have been nice and clear. You have your examples over here: for, while, loop. You have a good exercise. You can practice more with it. Take your time. We will be looking at this more in the course as well. Okay, good stuff. Bye-bye for now.